Well, y'all, she's a good friend of mine and she's a real estate broker. She's an investor. And today we talk about her being an author. Our guest for today has just finished and launched her new book, Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. I'm pretty excited. Ladies and gentlemen, in 30 seconds, we will have my dear friend, Crystal Tollett on. Now, hey, this is what we want you to do. While we put this little 30-second clip on, I want for you guys to go out and share as many of you just share as you possibly can. All right. See you in a bit. Well, what's up, Crystal? What's up?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Tonight we're going to have a very exciting show. I think the Ace is popping in, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him in tonight. Hey, what's up, Ace? Okay, he's a little slow, but we'll get him in just a second. So are you pretty excited about tonight?
I'm super excited. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Ace.
Look, I guess he's a little late. He's a little late to the party. We got Crystal. Look at your good looks. Look at you. We got Crystal on the show tonight, and we're going to be talking about her new book, Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. It's pretty exciting. Ace, what you got to say? Ace? See, you know what? This is what happens when you come in after 7:30. A lot of times you don't get to do the sound check. And that's what we're dealing with Ace right now. But don't worry about it. We'll go ahead and kick into the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Crystal Tollett's debut novel, Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love, has been a vision 20 years in the making. With an unwavering urge to write, she has used her own personal experiences as a blueprint for her writings and the core of her character development. Crystal writes in several genres: contemporary romance, romantic suspense, and inspirational children's fiction. Every character contains a piece of her, which makes them more relatable to her audience. Her writings are purpose-filled, humorous, and thoughtful. She's an Arkansas native. Crystal currently resides in Dallas, Texas, and when she is not creating, Crystal enjoys her career as a real estate professional. But first, ladies and gentlemen, we want you all to look at this. Remember, bonded by hate, torn apart by love. All right. Welcome, Crystal. What's up?
I like it.
Crystal.
Hi.
How to do?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Crystal, usually they don't have trailers to books. What's the motivation behind your trailer to a book?
Well, I definitely wanted to have something visual for people to kind of see, to kind of get them ready for the book. You know, they do have book trailers, but typically it's not an illustration. Sometimes it's like a narrator talking over, some stock photos showing, and then, or they'll have someone kind of acting it out. And typically when it's like an animated book, then you'll kind of see an animated book trailer. But I definitely wanted to have something visual that, people could kind of get could look at and get a feel for what to expect in the book. And people are visual, they like short videos, or some people who may not read often or whatever, they might see the video and get kind of intrigued by what's happening in the video and want to know more.
Can you talk about what took place in the video? Because some people maybe hard for them to kind of pick up or perceive what the video is actually trying to portray. Can you talk about more about that?
Yeah, so when the scene opens up, the music, starts out very hopeful, and then, and the characters meet, and it's kind of like a shyness or a tenderness, a moment that they kind of have, and then they're holding hands. And then when the organ kicks in, and then the woman in the red kind of sachets on in with her chain arms, it kind of represents something that had kind of kept the man from actually following through with his feelings, for the other character. And it just kind of represents that it was always there, but it wasn't actually brought to the forefront until feelings were expressed. You know what I mean? Because some people can want to be with someone, but they have past hurts that they are dealing with that keeps them from fully giving themselves, and that's kind of what that is. And then when she kind of takes him on off, it's like the character Skylar is her name. She kind of reaches for him, but she doesn't. You know what I mean? Like she has fight for him, but not probably enough. And then that you have that wind kind of come through, and it kind of represents a something anew, that's taking place. And then you have the shadow man kind of come into the picture, and he's kind of there to represent what the other character could not give her. He actually wants, to be with her, and is like able to. And then that's when you see her kind of walking into his direction, and he kind of, takes her in.
Okay, so Crystal, before we get into this book fully, before we fully get into this book, what inspired you to actually write a book? It takes a lot of effort. What inspired you to write a book?
Yes, so when I was as a kid, I used to read a lot. I used to write short stories. I would write horror stories with comedic twists, like all the time, And as I was getting older, like into my middle school years, I think I just kind of stopped the love for reading and the love for writing. But I stopped writing and I stopped reading, but it was always in me. And when I turned 18, my aunt sat me down and was like, okay, so what are you going to do with yourself? And I was like, well, I'm going to go to college and get a degree, but I'm going to write a book. And I didn't know what the book was going to be about. The good Lord gave me the title, and I just stuck with it, which was Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. Again, no idea what it was going to be about. 2 years later, when I was sitting in my dorm at UTA, dialogue woke me up out of my sleep, and I just had to start writing. And then once I had got all the words on the page, then I had to figure out where the story was, and then how I could then come into, kind of bringing it together. So the good Lord gave me the title. I knew I was going to write it. I didn't know what it was going to be about until I started writing it, and then it just kind of grew from there.
So a lot of people write backwards. They write the ending of the book, and then they go all the way back to the front. You start with the title of the book, and then you kind of make your way through the book, I'm sure.
I started with the title on this one, and then I wrote backwards. I had wrote I think I wrote the middle to the end, and then I had to go back and create the beginning.
Oh, okay. So now, Eric, I got to go back. Eric, he actually asked me when I told him about this book, and he was like, "Really?" He said, "Are there any pictures in it?" So,
He said, full understanding.
So there's no pictures in the book. However, I did want to, bring up your website, ladies and gentlemen. We're speaking with Crystal Tollett. She's the author of a new book, Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. And before we completely get into the book and allow you to elaborate on what it's about, let's meet some of the characters. First character I see, Skylar James. Skylar James looks very familiar, wouldn't you say, Eric?
I would say so.
So is Skylar? Who tell us about Skylar? Of course, her information is right there. But also, is she you?
I mean, she is, illustrated in my, as me. But all of the characters have a piece of me in them. But yes, her build and everything is me.
Okay, well, it looks awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long did okay, you just answered this a moment ago, but how long did it take you to write this book from the time you started until the day that you launched your book?
Yeah, so I started it in 2002 and I actually finished the book in 2008. But over the years, I kind of would go and add stuff in, just because times were changing. You know what I mean? Like there were mentions of house phones and going to rent a movie, like going to a physical place and stuff. So some stuff I kind of left in there just so it could be, it could add some funny moments, in the book or whatever. But I finished it completely in 08 and just kind of bounced in and out of it, ever since.
So fact or fiction? How much of this book is fiction? How much of this book is nonfiction?
I mean, it about 75%.
Fact or fiction is 75%.
60% might be fiction. I mean, it's fiction,
Okay.
But the characters, like some of the stuff, like some of the characteristics, of course, I dealt like some of the story. Okay, can't talk. So some of the emotions that kind of take place in the book, I've definitely felt. Like I don't want to give it away, but of course, if you go to the website, you read the back of the book, you'll know that Michael does have both of the characters have feelings for each other. One is just hiding the feelings. You know what I mean? And I had someone do that with me. At one point in time. So, I pull from, my life and then kind of what I've seen. So, I mean.
So do you want to tell us a name? So we are, okay, so we're talking with Crystal Tollett right now. She's talking about her new book, Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. Thank you for those who are joining us today. Before we move on, don't forget to vote. Y'all go out and vote. Vote early. You got 2 more days of early voting.
Let's do it.
The big day is on Sunday, or on Tuesday. So go out and vote. Now, Eric and Ace, we're having trouble. I'm going to let you guys get into your questions here in just a little bit. But just a moment ago, Crystal, you was telling us about a little love interest back in college that maybe you want to tell us a little bit more? No.
Listen, I'm from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And so the book mentions a lot of places then. And there are some similar names and things in there. So one person, he does know. That he's inspired. The other one doesn't, but he'll find out. But everybody is kind of, everyone's in a good light. I mean, the things these people go through is like life. So it's not anything super negative or anything. So no one should really be offended by anything.
You don't think we're going to see anybody being thrown off the top of the Empire State Building? Like, no. What movie was that with Morris? What's his name?
Michael
Morris?
Hughes.
No. What's the movie? The Best Man.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, so so-and-so read my book. Once they find out they're in the book, they're gonna be fighting each other, huh? Two guys who have the same love interest, even though it's 20 years later.
It's true.
I loved her. I loved her.
Well, hey, look, before we get into this book deep, we want to get on our new bit. We have a new bit called, and we want you to tell us a little bit more about this book after we come back in just a second. But now we're going to go to our new bit. It's called Ask. You know what? I need a jingle. We need a jingle for this. We don't have a jingle. We're talking about Ask the Ace. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are listening, and you too, Crystal, please think of a question right now. We're going to throw that question to the Ace. Everybody participate. We're going to throw it to the Ace, and Ace is going to answer this question for us. Ace, are you ready?
I know all. I see all.
Okay. So I'm throwing. How are we going to do this, Ace? Am I going to just throw the question, or do you want to answer it first?
You know what? You can switch it up or however you want to do.
I tell you what, I'm gonna throw the question out first, and then you answer it. First question that one of our RebrandUs online people sent to us, they said, "Is cereal soup?"
Is cereal soup? This question here goes to generations from deep in the warm section of the world. For those of you familiar about that region, and surprisingly, I've actually came. It's both yes and no. It really depends on what type of drugs you're under the influence of and how high a person is. If you're sober, it's cereal. If you're high, it could be soup. I did my research. I talked to quite a few of my marijuana smokers, a few meth heads. I was real scared of the crackheads. I kind of asked them from a distance, so they would tell me the answer, but I was kind of jogging while they were telling me. So, you know.
All right, Crystal, do you have a question?
I do.
All right.
Why are braids that are braided from the back, why are they called cornrows when they're just plaits or braids?
Oh,
very good question.
Simple. It actually ties in to old nickname. So just short for the sake of the rest of the questions, the young lady who started those was in love with Fritos. So she'd eat Fritos while she did people's hair. And people were complaining. They're like, my hair looks nice, but I smell like corn. We're like, corn rolls.
So, thanks. I got one for you. That's great. That's great. But I'm really curious about this one, though.
Okay.
You use toilet paper. What's the proper way to use it? Over or under?
Are we talking about wiping or coming off the roll?
I'm gonna keep the PG. I'm gonna say off the roll.
Toilet paper connoisseur.
Off the roll. Me personally, I believe in the over. Man, that under just seemed like you could get into a real rough situation. You just had your timing all wrong. You know, that over, because you can get that pull down there, roll how much you need, and turn out that under, man. You might have to use two hands. Under's just not a good look.
We got enough time for some of our Facebook friends and viewers to ask your question. Ask the ace. Ask him anything whatsoever.
Oh, and I saw somebody ask what I'm drinking. This is tea. I don't know what kind my daughter actually. Both of my daughters, whenever we're on the podcast, one of my daughters will make me hot tea. This is hot tea I sip for corona proof and my throat because I have a pretty distinctive voice and we have to keep that up. Oh, see, there you go. But I just drink it. This is my by the way, this is my Marvel Black Panther cup, so that's what you see me drinking in all the time.
Somebody says it's spiked. Okay, one more question, and I think we'll move right on back to Crystal. Final question. We have a couple Facebook users on our RebrandUs page who posted these. Let me see. Let me get a good one. What used to be? I'm gonna let y'all vote on which one we're gonna ask Crystal. What used to be trashy, but now is classy? What's something that used to be classy, but now is trashy? That's a possibility. What's a song you least likely to make love to? That's a possibility. What kind of a secret society would you like to start, Ace? So I'm gonna let you two, Eric and Crystal, pick which one you like.
I like the song one personally, but I'm game for him. Yeah.
Okay, I'll read it again. What's a song you least likely to make love to?
So that's the question we're
that's
throwing
your
out?
Question.
Oh, it's a lot of songs out there in the atmosphere. Hey, Queen Nick, hey, how you doing? I just approved that. Came on to support your friend. I like that. I would have to go with it's actually a tie in my book. Y'all have to forgive me for the tie. I can't choose. The least likely song would have to be either No Pain, No Gain or Rough Side of the
Mountain. Somebody wrote, and I believe it's my friend Kalinda. She said she don't want to hear Bump and Grind. I guess by R. Kelly. She's too old for that song anyway, right?
Yeah, depending on who you're in there with.
Pumps and a Bump.
Pumps. That's a good one.
Hey, you never know who you in there with. He coming out. You seen that video? He coming out with speedos. Hammering it.
I say Grandma's Hands. I think Bill Withers or somebody sing that song. You don't want to hear that.
You try to get in the mood. It's like, Grandma, is she just touching all on you and stuff?
I don't know. If you get you a cougar, it might be all right. Huh?
Hey, that's what I'm saying. You get you a cougar. That song's like on a whole nother thing.
All right, and that's the end of our bit we have going on today. Next week we're going to post it on there. We want to make sure that everybody get a chance to ask the ace someone some question, and he'll just answer whatever it is. Somebody says,
I want to shout out to Kim. She's going to be on tonight. She's getting her award in Atlanta, Georgia. Bring it on home. Congratulations.
All right. So now getting back to Crystal. Crystal, let's talk about the book. Crystal, we have Crystal Toilette on tonight. She's introducing her new book, Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. Crystal, now let's get into the book. Tell us a little bit about it.
So this book is about how we are naturally attracted to people in relationships that aren't good for us, and the roles our insecurities play in shaping those relationships.
Okay, so she's already told us a little bit about Skylar. Now there's another fellow by the name of Michael Walker. He doesn't have a face in this book. Is he one of the forbidden guys from Arkansas that you couldn't talk about?
No, the reason why the other characters do not have faces is because I wanted the readers to be able to picture whoever they wanted. You know, some people have already been through some of the things that these characters go through in the book. So I thought it would be, nice for them to just either picture whoever or create. I kind of give descriptions of like height, and things like that in there, but the facial features, I wanted them to be able to do that themselves.
So Michael, and I don't want to hog all the questions, fellas. I'll let y'all get on it next. But Michael is pretty fit, good looking guy. I always wonder how come he's never a big, big belly guys. We like relationships too. So anyway, hey, go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
I'm real curious. I mean, I think the book sounds absolutely wonderful. And you say it's mostly fiction or nonfiction, or is all?
It's fiction, but I've pulled from my life experiences for some for the storyline, basically.
And I guess when you read for your own benefit, your own leisure, do you prefer fiction over nonfiction yourself?
I actually love inspirational books. Honestly, that's what I love. I love books with a purpose. But if I can find a book that has comedy, drama, and suspense in it, like that's like my go-to thing. But I do gravitate towards books of specified purpose, I guess.
So who's your favorite author? Are you looking at Maya Angelou, or is there a particular person that you love to read?
So the very first book that I ever read from beginning to the end was a book written by Darian Lee, and it was called What Goes Around Comes Around. And that was the first time I was able to just read a book all the way through, and I wasn't disappointed at the end,
Wow.
So that was like, I was almost late for my birthday dinner reading that book. I was texting. I wasn't texting people, but I was just like letting people know, like, hey, I'm going to be a little late. Like, I was really trying to finish that book. So she definitely helped me know that there are books out there that I won't be disappointed in, because there have been plenty of books that I've started and I wanted to quit, but I didn't, because I felt like I'd already given so much of my life away that I had to finish it. But, she definitely gave me hope. And then I love Produced by Faith by Devon Franklin. And so, yeah, I mean, and that book just really helps you just realize, helps you recognize the season that you're in. Because sometimes you keep going through the same stages in life, and it's because you're not learning whatever it is you're supposed to learn in that season, so you have to keep repeating it. But once you start to recognize everything that keeps coming to you and kind of humble yourself and just go in that quiet place and pray about it and figure it out, then things will actually start moving for you.
Couple things real quick.
Go ahead.
For the fellas, though, I would just say, Devon Franklin, not diminishing anything he's done, I think he's a great man of God. I think he does great prayer. but he's Megan's good husband. Just want to throw that out there for all the men out there. He's good. But he's like I said, he gives great prayers. And he does get a lot of good insight, in some of these books though, for sure. So I salute him. But
I would follow on Tuesdays on Instagram. He would have people on and he'd pray for them. So he'd learn a little bit about whatever struggle or anything they were going through, and then he would have prayer. And I would just love that. I love seeing people get prayed for. So yeah, I love him. And then what's funny is that I pictured one of the characters being played by Megan.
Oh, really?
Guess who?
Was it Skylar for real?
No, it wasn't Skylar.
Oh, okay. Well, let me. You know what though? Let's talk about people who don't read for a moment. Like, I'm not a big reader. It takes me a long time to read. Tell us how easy, because I know all of you guys quite a bit. And Crystal, you yourself, I don't know if you're the greatest reader in the world, if you like to read a lot, but tell us how this book is so easy to read, or how we can just pick it up and it's just not be able to put it down.
I mean, I have been told that it's a page turner for somebody who has a short attention span like myself. You know what I mean? I have to really be into something to get in there and it keeps my attention and to finish it. And this book, it really is a page turner. It pretty much grips you from the first few pages. You kind of get a feel, and then it just keeps going and going. And it's never a dull moment. The characters, they're so funny in their own right. And you know how it doesn't wait for people to kind of get told whatever it is they need to get told, like how, in like soap operas and things, like they get it when they're supposed to get it. So it's just very entertaining. And then once you start getting to know the characters and you start to see yourself in them, or maybe someone that really makes it more interesting and intriguing to you. So you'll want to keep it going.
So do we see a lot of dilemmas and, oh man, what's going to happen, and heartache and heartbreak, and it just finally comes along in the end?
Yep, it's a dramedy. It has a lot going on. Drama, comedy. Yeah, it's a good read.
I have this question here for you. Although we know that Skylar has a lot of similarities and some commonalities from you, who would you say your favorite character in the book is for yourself?
My favorite character in the book? I love Nico. Nico is hilarious to me. He keeps things going. He keeps it interesting in that book, for real.
All right.
He's my favorite.
Let's see if we can find what Nico looks like. Oh, look here. No face. Nico got a lot of chest hair.
Yeah.
Or is that a shadow? I don't know.
That's a typical Hot Springs guy right there.
No.
I know Hot Springs. I won't say typical, but
Nico is an interesting individual because I'm assuming a black man that says greetings and salutations. Now, where is he? He's not from Hot Springs, that's for certain.
Well, no, because it looks like he plays a lot of golf.
He's an orthodontist.
From Dallas, Texas. Okay.
There you go.
Man.
This book is based in Dallas, Texas, and the book does make its way to Arkansas. But it's all the characters reside in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about then. That's even more pub. I had a question. So for you, is writing therapy or just more hobby?
It's definitely not a hobby. This is my life's purpose is to write. Okay. So, and I get ideas, like I'm just always like in my mind creating things. Someone might say something to me and it might provoke a thought, or I'm like, oh, I can write that in this storyline or that storyline or whatever. So it's very therapeutic because it's my life on pages for all to see. And depending on what I'm writing, it helps you kind of get through maybe something that needed to get out that was kind of bottled up.
Queen Nick says, yes, definitely a page turner. For those of you who are thinking about reading the book, surely we'll be able to tell you how you can go get this book here in just a little bit. It's actually scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Go to crystaltoilette.com. We are talking to Crystal Toilette about her new book, Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. And in just a moment, when we come back, we're going to be talking to Crystal about the process of writing a book and the process of why not Amazon and all of those things here in just a moment. But first, we have another thing we want to do. We want to spotlight a person in history, typically a Black person who just don't get a whole lot of love. We got my man D'Urville Martin.
D'Urville, that's my main man.
D'Urville, D with an apostrophe. This guy was born in 1939, and he had an apostrophe in his name. It's interesting.
Maybe his mother had a stuttering problem, and they just took it as that.
D'Urville Martin was born in New York in 1939. Was a Black American blaxploitation actor who saw plenty of success in the 1960s in movies such as Black Like Me, Rosemary's Baby, and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier.
You can't forget Dolomite.
And he has credits as both the star and director in Rudy Ray Moore's Dolomite and Pam Grier's Sheba Baby. He was the director in Dolomite. In addition to 21 other movies, D'Urville Martin was portrayed by Wesley Snipes in Eddie Murphy's adaptation of the life of Dolomite in the movie Dolomite Is My Name. D'Urville passed away in 1985. Y'all want to hear a cool little nugget of information? Crystal, let me ask you, since you're our guest, how many Lionel Jeffersons were there?
3.
3. You say 3. What do you say, Ace?
I got to go with 3.
Okay, Eric, 3. You going with 3? The correct answer, of course, y'all know the 2. The 2 that was actually on the show. But the first Lionel Jefferson was D'Urville Martin.
D'Urville. That's why he had that apostrophe. His mama knew he was going for big things.
You know he was going to be a star.
Yeah, D'Urville Martin. Lionel.
Celebrating Black greatness from 1939 with D'Urville Martin. All right, now we're back. Again, we're talking to Crystal Tollett tonight. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We want to be sure to answer any question you guys may have, too. So don't hesitate to send us a note if you have any questions for Crystal. But Crystal, so tell us, let's talk about the publishing process. You did that by yourself, right?
Yes, I established my publishing company, which is Working Purpose Publishing. When I first said I was going to write a book all those years ago, I always wanted to self-publish. I wanted to own everything, control the narrative for my book. I didn't want anyone taking my baby and doing their own thing with it. I wanted to be in control of that. So yes, I established my LLC.
Oh, well, okay. So we were talking about D'Urville Martin just a moment ago and Lionel Jefferson and so forth. Pretty good segue. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but see, Mr. Willis was a publisher. So we just, okay. Crystal, I thought you would get that. Okay, never mind. She got it, didn't she? Okay. Yeah. She looked the wrong way.
So Crystal, yeah.
All right. So now tell us the difference between publishing it yourself and going through the whole Amazon process.
So I never really looked into going the Amazon way just because that wasn't the route I wanted to go. However, I have some clients who I have a client who actually published a book, two clients who have published books. One has one coming out soon. But one of them told me that she was like, I could have did this myself. You know what I mean? Her child had like a science fiction book or whatever, fictional book or whatever. But I know that they make you have a certain price point. And if you want to charge more, then I don't think you get the right marketing for it or whatever. I don't know the whole process. I just know that by going through them, it has to be formatted a certain kind of way. It has to be a certain price point. And then they have different tiers on how much of the profit you can take for yourself and things like that. And then I think they have monthly fees for like if you're storing the book like in their house, warehouse or anything like that. But I just know I wanted to be in control and control how everything worked out,
Right.
So I guess one advantage that I've noticed with Amazon versus going the route that you've done, which I highly encourage for anybody that writing books to try to publish outside of that kind of stuff too. But what would you say to the consumer that, because Amazon is typically going to be a little bit cheaper than self-publishing or finding some publishing company outside of Amazon or something like that, right? What would you say to the consumer who wanted your book but wanted to pay a cheaper price for it? So how would you help that person understand that my product is better than what you might find on Amazon, something to that nature. How would you talk to that consumer?
I mean, there are books on Amazon that are romance novels that cost more than $9.99, but you know, there's a lot that goes into creating a book. You have everything that it took to create the book, print the book, you know, to do all of the back end stuff comes out of that price. One great thing is just like Amazon, shipping is free on my website.
Oh,
So
really?
a lot of people, that's something that's important, you know, or it might be important to them. And, you know, it's a nice size book. So you definitely get your money's worth. So the value is there, you know, and when you go to the website, crystaltoilette.com, you'll be able to read samples of the book. You can meet the characters like we were doing, and you're also able to watch the book trailer, and then you can read, you know, the book blurb, you know, on the back of the book on the website as well. So there, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. So, I mean, if someone doesn't like the price point, then it's just not the book for them.
I like that. That. Don't you know? We don't have to barter with anybody. This is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So, and not to get on a different topic or anything, but that's something that happens in the Black community a lot, right? Sometimes we offer a product similar to somebody else, but the price point maybe a little bit higher than somebody else's, but we want that hookup, right? So I'm like Ace on that one. I think that's something we got to get to the point to where we can be okay with paying a little higher price. So I do definitely want to continue supporting Black-owned anything for this point. And obviously, you are a Black-owned business owner yourself. So kudos to you, and we're going to support you for sure.
Thank you.
I wish there was a way for us to put a link /RebrandUs so people will know, you know, so you'll know how many people are actually getting it from this. So again, truth be told, I'm not a reader, but I certainly have the book. I'm going to read the book. We'll have Crystal on, and we'll have a book club or something at some point. But even if you're not a reader, be sure to go and get the book for support, because you know, Crystal's been putting in some work for this book for quite some time, and I've been watching her work on it. And I've sat with her on many occasions as she was sitting there writing and asking me, you know, different questions herself. So definitely be sure to go out and get this book. So crystaltoilette.com is at the very bottom. I did spell that right, Crystal?
You did.
Okay, good. All right, now, so let me ask you, does writing energize you or does it exhaust you?
Depends on what I'm writing.
Okay.
If I'm having to pull from a deep place in a place of hurt or something, then it's going to be hard and it's going to exhaust me out. But if it's something, you know, I'm not having to pull from that and I'm just creating this new world or creating a scene, then it's very exciting for me.
So now, what do you do about writer's block?
Well, when I've had it in the past, and you're going to get it, that's just what it is. Sometimes I'll just completely change the narrative. So I'll just walk away from it and go do something else, clean the house, go just do life, right? Or I might reread the book to get excited about whatever it is that I'm like writing. Or I might start writing on something else that has been nudging me or I've been excited to kind of get to, but I've had to kind of get through what I was currently doing to do so.
So is there any type of genre that you feel that you'd like to tackle one day? You know, like I know you were saying like you enjoy different types, but as far as you writing, is there any particular genre that you like? One day I'm gonna tackle that genre.
Yeah, so I love romantic suspense, and actually the second book, you know, all of the books that I will write, I have started on already. And so I'm super excited for the next one. Of course, that'll come, but it is romantic suspense. So it still has the humor in it. It still has the romance aspect, but it definitely has some good suspense going on. I'm so excited for it.
How much love making in this book? Because if the movie come out, then we really
very descriptive. I hope very descriptive.
Read the book and you will find out.
Okay, speaking of which, Crystal, so if you had to liken this book to something else, a movie, another book, or let's say a movie, because everybody watch movies, what movie would this book be closely related to?
Listen, as you're reading through the book, you are listen, if you were around in the late 1900s and early 2000s, right? You're gonna have a sense of nostalgia because, you know, I loved the wood. You know, you can see that in this book. You can see Love Jones for sure. You can definitely see Brown Sugar and Love and Basketball, because, you know, you got the whole friend aspect, friends falling for each other type of thing. So it's like all of that just kind of rolled into one. And then, like, I would say the soundtrack is pretty awesome. So soundtrack meaning in the book, you know, when I'm setting a scene, when something's going on, I'll have songs playing in the background. So I'll describe what the song is and who sung the song, so that, you know, people can kind of like go on YouTube and just kind of have it playing as they're, you know.
Oh, okay.
It really
do you have anything and I'm pretty sure various artists, but anything perhaps by Randy Watson?
Randy Watson.
Yeah.
He played it. You know, he played in the It's Going Down episode of That's My Mama.
Yeah, it's Officer Joe.
Nothing by him.
Hey, Randy, I tried, baby.
Well, he believed the children are our future. That's for sure.
I've talked to Anthony about your voice before. You have this voice that just you can just kind of go to sleep on, right? You can just, it's really angelic, and it's just a really nice voice.
She needs to do some ASMR.
Have you ever thought about audio books as well, in addition to you writing the books?
Listen, I'm very happy that you like my voice. Sometimes I do not, and I've never thought about like audio, like doing audio. I've thought about doing like voiceovers for like animation and stuff, but like reading a book, I have not. Because I love reading out loud.
If you decide to do audio, I could do a few chapters. Mark touched her softly. Protruding of the port. Softly kissed her. He looked at her. Said, "I love you." Well, I can get in there. I just have to practice. You got too many big words, and I don't want to be all sexy and stomach. And
yeah. There are not a lot of big words.
Oh yeah, we flow right through that there.
When I look at of course, we've seen Skylar, and I believe your face is plastered all over this book, Crystal. This to me is up. I think I don't know if I pulled the wrong one. Let me take that one off. But I got another picture I want to bring up. Your picture is plastered all over this book, and so for those who want to have a strong visual, even though there's no pictures of this in this book, that's you. Is that not you? That's you.
Mm-hmm.
So who is that in the red? Is that some girl that you had some kind of beef with back in college, back at UTA?
No, she is fictional. Her character is fictional, but I mean, we've all had a Kim kind of swoop in and, you know, mess with our men. So that is actually
I don't know.
All women have had a Kim, okay? They've had a Kim for sure.
Hey, she got a phone with them chain on. She can hurt somebody.
Yeah. She has a strong hold on that boy.
She's a strong one. Like, who's it? Jeffrey Slachter or somebody here? Okay, so again, the book Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love. We have Crystal Toilette on today. Be sure to go out and get this book. You cannot get it on Amazon, but you can get it on crystaltoilette.com. Please go out and support.
And shipping is free.
Shipping is 100% free. It's wrapped up in the cost of the book.
That's important, though. That's important.
It's very important. It's very important. So let's shift. Let's change things a little bit now. So on your Facebook page, for those, you're gonna have all kind of friends now. Crystal Toilette Realtor. So you're more than just an author. Let's talk about you being a realtor for a moment. So of course, obviously, you do it here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So, you know, I got into the real estate market at the perfect time in 2008 when the market crashed. You know, I didn't know any better. I'd actually started, you know, working towards it in 2006, but I just kind of sat on it for a year and then, you know, but yeah, I've been a real estate professional for 12 years. It's 12 years now. And so I work with investors. I work with first-time home buyers, sellers, you know, all across the board. I do, you know, corporate relocating as well. So, you know, I kind of have my hand all over Dallas, because dealing with my investors who buy properties, I kind of help them with the renovation process, as far as in, meeting contractors and setting them up for them, and just being there to, oversee, I guess. Because a lot of my investors I have never met. And I don't know what they look like. We've only talked on the phone or email. And I have one particular client who I have never talked to on the phone. And I've sold 4 properties with her. And she bought properties to hold as rental properties. And then, the other investors bought properties to flip. And so, dealing with them, I have a good knowledge of the market in different parts of the city, so whatever someone is looking for, I definitely have knowledge and can help them.
Okay, you know what? I've been reading this book since you've been talking. Skylar, is Skylar a real estate agent?
Skylar is not a real estate agent. Okay. She is a college student and a copywriter.
Oh, well, it's in the, okay, gotcha. So tell us, how can, now we have it on the screen, but you work for Halo. Tell us more about how we can contact you if we want to buy us a building or a house or something, and go through your services.
Yes. So, you can always contact me. My Instagram handle is Real Estate and Romance. So that's an easy way to contact me. You can also go to my website, which is crystal.haloagent.com. And, you can contact me either, or you can DM me on Real Estate and Romance and just let me know how I can help you.
No house is too big for you?
Mm-mm.
No, hey, don't be acting funny when I send you a friend request now.
Oh, I won't.
I don't have a I just have a body. It's just a blank face. I just want you to imagine how your Facebook friend will look.
Okay.
So, of course, RebrandUs is a show. It's a podcast about, the Black way of life, about trying to improve life for Black people in lots of different ways, both welfare and voting and so forth and so on. You as a real estate agent, do you see what do you see out there as far as Black investors and so forth, people trying to buy their houses and doing big business? Is your clientele mostly Black, white, and what changes can we see or can we make do to make that a little bit better for the Black community?
Yes, I believe that my clients are probably about 85-75%. Not all the way. Well, I guess they're Black. They're a minority of some sort, maybe, or they might be someone who's not from this country, from Russia, Ukraine, or something like that.
That's our viewers from Russia. Okay.
Yeah. So I, wanting to get into real estate as investing, and even when you're buying a home for yourself to live in, that is an investment, because you can make the decision to either keep the property, for 5 years or however long until you move up in your career, or you can, sell it at that time and then take that money and, put it into something else. So I feel like across the board, people should not be scared, because if you can pay rent, you can buy a home, and there are resources out there. And a lot of people they're just scared to just act. You know what I mean? They just have that fear, especially in this pandemic. But I will tell you, none of my clients were like that. This is like the best year I've ever had in real estate. I've all through when it first happened and all that stuff was showing on the TV that we don't really see anymore. My people, that was not phasing them at all. We were out there. I have had our mask on. We were making it happen. I sold more homes between February and May than ever. Yeah. 2, 3 homes a month. Yeah.
I guess people are looking somewhere to get inside to.
Yeah.
That one.
So, okay, now speaking of real estate, there seems like there's a plethora of real estate agents around everywhere, certainly Dallas. How do you know which one to choose, and how do you know what to stay away from? For example, and she's not listening, the person that sold me my house, she was a part-time real estate agent. To speak to that, tell me, how do you know what to choose and what not to choose, and should you go part-time or should you go full-time?
So you should never not work with somebody because they are a part-time, because they might be transitioning. You know, you never know anyone's situation, and you don't want to knock their hustle, because many entrepreneurs, because that's what you are when you are a real estate professional. I am an independent contractor, but this is my, this is my business. And so you never want to have only one source of income anyway. You know what I mean? So to not work with somebody just because they're part-time, that's just not really, that's not a good look, because they're trying to build whatever it is. And you just never know where that might take them. They might be trying to get into it and build a team and then start referring people to that. You just never know. Now, I will say, if you find, because sometimes you don't know, sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. I always had another job. It wasn't until 2013 that I let that completely go, and it was just straight real estate. So only certain people knew that I had another job, only certain clients, because some of the clients that I had in my different other jobs, and like when I was a weight loss consultant at Jenny Craig, I sold about 4. My very first home that I sold was from one of my clients. I didn't know what I was doing. They came in, because I always had the couples, and they came in and they said, hey, we want this house. It's not on the market anymore, but we've seen signs. So, they like literally walked me through that thing. But if it wasn't for them believing in me, because I'd already set a foundation with them, working with them weekly. I saw them weekly, sometimes twice a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would never knock anyone. But when you are interviewing a realtor, you always want to go with your gut. One, listen to whatever it is that's speaking to you, but you want to ask the right questions. If they're not giving you straight answers and they're kind of giving you the runaround, everybody has been given the runaround. You know how that feels. That's when you want to take pause. You know what I mean? You want to know who their company is, but a lot of people don't care. It's all about the person. Do they like you? Do they trust you? Do they have confidence in you? So you just want to have a list of questions that you want to ask, that you would just ask anyone that you're going to go into a relationship with, because it's a relationship. You have to have open communication, because you're dating. Honestly, you learn a lot about someone when you're helping them purchase a home. If they have good communication skills, can they listen? Do they listen? Do they hear what they want to hear? You know what I mean? There's a lot. So you want to treat it as you are going into a relationship with someone, because some people, it might take them 4 or 5 months to find a home. And you might be taking them out 2-3 times a week. You know what I mean? So you just want to make sure that they have good communication. If you ask them a question or they say they're going to do something, did they do what they said they were going to do? Some people starting out, it might take them a moment, but if it's a constant, if it's just comes something that's just all that they do, they're not getting back to you on time, things like that. They're not doing what they said they were going to do. They're not explaining documents, someone just wanting you to sign something so they can get an offer in. Things like that. You want to know everything that you're reading, and you want to make sure that they're not skipping over anything, and that if you do have a question, that they actually answer it.
Right. All right. Well, Crystal, thank you for joining us today. Bonded by Hate, Torn Apart by Love is her new book. Go to crystaltoilette.com. She's not only an author, she's also a real estate agent. So if you guys are looking for a house, she's the person to go to. Crystal, what's next? You got this book finished? Are you going to just sit with this for a little while, or you got something else new?
Yeah, we're going to, get this book out there to the masses. That is the goal. I do have a couple of interviews coming up, and I actually have my first, book tour date. It's going to take place, in Milwaukee. I believe it's going to take place on November 28th, and so it's going to be in an art gallery in Milwaukee. So there'll be more information about that on my social media, on my Instagram page, Real Estate and Romance, and you can definitely go there to learn more about my upcoming events.
Oh, so check her out, crystaltoilette.com. We also have her Instagram. What's that? Real Estate and Romance. Real Estate and
Romance.
And also, your Jenny Craig customer that you sold the house to, what was that process like? Did you have the house smelling like fresh muffins, or was it just voluntary?
Listen, they were in great shape. Okay, I don't know why they
Okay.
were trying to come to Jenny Craig.
Okay.
They just didn't want to cook their meals, I think.
They walked to the house like, it's just something about this one.
There are grapes on the wall, but that's a healthy thing.
Sold, huh, Ace?
Yeah.
Hey, Ace,
I take.
Ace, what are we talking about next week?
Next week we're actually gonna be talking to more than talking about, but it's kind of another highlight. A lot of you guys probably it'll be exciting. My man Dwayne Jesse, we're gonna be interviewing him. Y'all might know him as Otis Day from Animal House, from Otis Day and the Night. So we're gonna talk to him. He's part of that cult classic, and he's gonna do a few tunes for us. If you don't know, go Google him. You can just type in Otis Day. They have some of his songs.
Give us one of the famous tunes. I think all the listeners certainly want to hear you sing at least one of the tunes.
Well, just I'm not all there with the voice. I did Simple T, but Boom Shakalaka is the. If you go to Google, type in Otis Day and the Night, or just Otis Day, and you can get a little sample of that from Animal House.
I think we got one more Facebook. They said Ace, Ace, Ace. Boy, I think they love it when you do that, Ace. I think they love it. Tony
Everybody
Goodson.
love it when I talk about Otis Day.
Tony Goodson said Ace, Ace, Ace.
My man.
So, Crystal, next week we're on Tuesday, as we get ready to wrap up. Tuesday, we're going to have a special show. We're going to be on for a couple hours probably as the process of the new president starts to unfold. We're going to find out who's the new president on that day. We're going to do a special show. Few guests. We got Victor Goodson going to be on the show. Of course, our guest Andrea will be on. Hey, we want to send our prayers out to Kim, our host. She's not going to be on this show. She didn't give us permission to say why, but she has some things that everybody needs to pray about. So anyway, be sure to tune in next Tuesday, Crystal, as we try to make some things happen in this presidential election.
Will do.
Any last words, Crystal?
Just visit my website, crystaltoblet.com, and you will not be disappointed.
Ace?
I like it.
Release me to the streets and keep whatever's left of me.
Explain that to me.
Hey, these last words. You don't explain last words. You just go out on them.
I need an explanation because I'm scratching my head.
You just
Eric,
go out
explain
on
me.
last words.
Eric he's a psychologist. He can
tell
do
him.
that. Eric,
Tell him.
what does that mean, Eric?
I got enough for him. Sorry, got enough for him.
What you think, Crystal? What does that mean? Release me to the street.
Oh, wait.
She's not very good. We try to do our Brady Bunch thing. It's difficult. It's very difficult. Eric, any last words?
Vote, vote, vote. I also say if you have any, like Crystal's gonna come on the show tonight too, in regards to publishing her businesses or whatever. We want to continue doing that with Black-owned businesses as well. So if you have a business you want to highlight, you can send us an email at RebrandUs podcast@yahoo.com. It'll get to one of us and we can start highlighting some more Black-owned businesses on the podcast and on Facebook page, and upcoming soon is our website, hopefully. So just if you ever have a business you want to pub, RebrandUs podcast@yahoo.com.
Hey, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week. We have 2 shows, one on Tuesday and possibly a follow-up on Wednesday. We'll see you then.